So my name is Justin. I'm going to show you some cool stuff today. It's called Thin Slide Face Off, and I came up with this because I wanted to institute like argumentation, but I wanted to be quick. I don't want to spend a ton of time building the argument or anything like that. I wanted to have two concepts, and then we are going to talk about it, mash it up. And I figured out like, well, okay, what are some quick EduProtocols? Well, the first thing that came to my mind was a thin slide. It's one word, one picture, 3 minutes, right? So we build it really, really quickly. 3 minutes, we've got both sides. Then they've got to argue about it. And usually that argument is some kind of synthesis question. And we'll get into that here in a second, how to build that. But the whole thing behind this was that I wanted the kids to argue and I wanted to be quick. I didn't want to take all class period. So, um, so why it works, students retrieve, compare, and synthesize in minutes. It doesn't take forever, right? In fact, this shouldn't take any more than 12 to 15 minutes max. Every student speaks, thinks, and collaborates. There's no way to hide. The slide stays thin, but the thinking gets thick. It's cheesy, I put it on there. And it moves from recall, reasoning, and justification. It gets all that with just thin slides, right? Thin slides are so uncomplicated. They're so easy, but we're getting some really deep thinking out of it because we're using things to create synthesis. So here's the recipe card for the thin slide. It's one word, one image, one slide, and you're going to get 3 minutes to do it. And then afterwards, each person gets 4 seconds in a lightning fast. Explain your picture, explain your word. I like to use Padlet to do this. You don't have to use Padlet. You can have slides, a shared slide deck as well. But Padlet makes it really easy because you can't mess with other people's slides on it. So I recommend Padlet. I believe you can have up to 5 boards on there without paying for it, and then you just delete them and you can make another one. So how it works, each student makes a thin slide on a different but related topic. So one image and one word. Then we present them. Students explain their slides, and it should be 4 seconds there. No reading, just reasoning. And then we face off. Partners compare their topics and build a joint thin slide answering a synthesis question. And then pairs present their joint slide and defend their claim. So that's the bare bones of it. We're going to get into it because I believe that we all learn by doing. And so just like our students do, they learn by doing. And I want you guys to do the same thing. So we're going to kind of jump into it. So go ahead and go to this link right here, and I'm going to put this in chat. Yeah. And one person says there's no reading, just reasoning. That's the beauty of a thin slide, is that it's just one word, one picture. So they can't just be reading off the screen, right? They have to be using like, hey, why did I put this word? Why did I put this picture? They have to defend it, right? And it's their own words. There's nothing else there to save them. But I find that all my kids can do it, even my EL learners, and it's so great for them because they can really show their thinking in one word and one picture, and it's so much easier than them putting together a whole sentence for it, and you can see their thinking. And even if they can't really speak it, you can talk with them about it, right? You can have an interaction with them, and you can kind of guide them to their thinking, and the words they need to use to express it. Okay, and now I'm going to get there myself and stop talking. Okay, so here we have our directions. So in class, what I would do is I would give everybody a number, like 1 or 2. And if you're a 1, you're a gas vehicle. If you're a 2, you're electric vehicle. I didn't want to take the time to do that online and figure that out. So I'm going to have A through M, you are a gas vehicle. And N through Z, you are an electric vehicle. Now you're going to make a word and a picture that help define what those things are. Here's the caveat. I don't want your word and picture to represent the same exact thing about a gas vehicle or about electric vehicle. I want your word to represent one thing about a gas vehicle and your picture to represent something different about a gas vehicle. And I think that's super important because what we do is in class is I'll get kids who put the word and the picture that mean the same thing, and I want them to get deeper. And so I think that's an important thing for distinction for you to make in your own class is that we want kids to have deeper thinking with a very simple task. And so if you tell them, hey, I want my word to mean one thing and my picture to mean another thing, it's so much deeper than just them both meaning the same thing. And you're gonna get better results out of that, I believe. So 3 minutes, one word, one picture, representing a gas vehicle and electric vehicle. So if your last name starts with A through M, you're a gas vehicle. If your last name starts with N through Z, you're an electric vehicle. Heidi's asking, so we do word and pick about same vehicle but different word. So we're doing a gas vehicle or electric vehicle. If your last name starts with A through M, your gas vehicle. It starts with N through Z, your electric vehicle. And I want you to describe what those things are. Like, what is a gas vehicle? Like a description of it, just one word and one picture, but have them mean different things. So, for example, if I was going to do electric vehicle, I could say clean, right? Because it's not doesn't have much exhaust coming out. And I could say recharge because it has to be charged, right? And as always, you always have to set a timer because if you don't use a timer, kids will take all the time. So I'll set a timer right now for 3 minutes. All right, got some popping up. That's awesome. 2 more minutes. If you need help, let me know. If you want to make a post, you just click on one of these plus signs, either A through M or the N through Z, and that's how you make your post. And so when we're doing this in class, I am walking around, I am looking over shoulders, I am checking to see who needs help because usually the kids who aren't doing anything, they need some help getting going. Now they at this point in the school year, they know what to do. Sometimes they're just not doing it. And so they need a little encouragement. And so I'm going to get behind them. I'm going to talk to them about it. I'm going to have a conversation with them about it. Like, hey, so what word are you thinking with this? And well, if they're like, oh, I don't know, they don't want to think today, right? I just start talking to them about it. And as through the conversation, I say, okay, pick one of the words that we just talked about. Just pick one of them. What kind of picture are you thinking about? Oh, I don't know. Well, then you just start talking about the topic itself. Okay, go find a picture of one of the things we just talked about. So it kind of just takes the excuses out of it. About 30 more seconds. Okay. Now, what you do with Padlet is you're going to go over to the right-hand side. So everybody look at the screen right now, and you can see that there is a play sign on there. And you're going to click that. And so what happens now is when your slide comes up, that's your time to go. In class, what I found I've had to do is that I've had to tell them to put their name on it, or else they like to hide. Because you always got those quiet kids that don't necessarily want to speak up because they don't feel confident in it yet, right? So in class, I'll have them put their names on it. I didn't have you guys do it. Your teachers, you'll speak up when it's your time, but just unmute yourself and then go ahead and present yours. And you got 4 seconds each. So I give everybody 4 seconds and I go to the next one. All right. Cheerful armadillo.
It is so much easier to drive the distance without having to plan things out, and repair costs are much cheaper.
Vintage.
Things from the past that are even fueled by gasoline are beautiful and give us great memories.
I want to hear that roar.
Heck yeah.
Uses a lot of gas.
That's expensive.
We've always used gas vehicles and the engines are faster and they make a great sound.
Gas vehicles are easier to do like all terrains and easier to go long distances.
You can travel farther when you use a gas vehicle, but they do emit emissions.
Sorry, I wasn't prepared with unmuting. Gas vehicles use a lot of gas, which results in expensive, which I really didn't do a good job of doing opposites. Just realized that.
It's fine. It's fine. And that's I'm glad that came up because you're gonna have students that do that too. And you just kindly remind them like, hey, we're just trying to make the word and the picture about different things because we're gonna do this again and we're gonna get better at it. And when we do things over and over again, we all get better at those things. So you just kindly remind them like, hey, it's okay. It's okay to mess up. It's all no, nobody's getting after you. This is a safe place, and we're gonna do it better next time. And I'm gonna keep reminding you guys we're gonna be here all day, So it's not a big deal at all. Somebody's talking about the past here. We'll go to the next one. Anybody? You get this too. That's why I haven't put names.
Family
Memories.
bonding.
For sure. Okay, and then we go to the electric side.
Clean air, better, no pollution.
I think one of the things for people is that there's too much tech to it that they're not comfortable with.
It's fun to drive around and just find a place to plug in, and you can drive around quietly.
Sure. It actually sounds like angels from heaven coming down whenever they drive by, right? Kind of fun.
Absolutely.
Promotes technology, which keeps the world moving forward.
Heck yeah, that's cool.
Saves money, which is sometimes a debate on that, but some saving.
Sure.
Hi there. It's economical because again, like we're saying, it's going to save money. On the other hand, you really need to have a garage sometimes to have your charger. So it's trickier if you were in a city.
Love it. I love the picture too. That's so much fun. You'll get kids with that. They'll come up with these crazy pictures, right? And it's so much fun to see what they come up with. Becky, you there? That's okay. She says efficient. And then this is awesome.
So I think that's where we are going. It's becoming very trendy, and I think we love those noises of the like angels coming down. Like I think I love it. And it's
That's
like,
pretty
where,
cool.
where is it? Where is it?
Right?
Yeah.
You got to look around first. Yeah, I love it. Good job. All right. Now what we do, so in class, what I would do is I would have two partners and they would be talking about it, right? Um, so they would talk about the benefits of the gas vehicle, the benefits of electric vehicle, and come to a conclusion and make a thin slide in the middle. Now we're going to skip that part for right now because it's a little bit difficult to do online, but you get the gist of it. So take a look. You guys have heard the argument from both sides. Now make a decision which one is better and why, and make a thin slide for that. So I want you to have two reasons as to which one's better, right? So picture and a word, but two different reasons as to why your side is better. Okay, so 3 minutes. Ready, go. And remember, always have a timer. I got a timer on my phone that I use, and I call out the time as we're going. But if you don't use a timer, the kids will take all the time. So if you'll get you the link, 1 sec. There you go. Yes, this could definitely be done on a Google Slide or paper, 100%. I did on Padlet to accommodate being online, but I definitely do this on a Google Slide. I'm going to show you examples of how I do it on a Google Slide as well. And I love this. If you see this, one person took notes on it, like electric vehicles are not great for going long distances and so on. You'll have kids sometimes that get a little nervous about just speaking off the cuff, and they'll write notes for themselves. And I fully allow that. I'm like, that's fine. If that makes you more comfortable and it allows you to present or not present, but share, never say present. They're scared of that. Allows you to share with the rest of the class more effectively, all about it. But I do not make them do that. One word, one picture, that's all I require. About 40 more seconds. No, it's not a big deal, Amanda. We don't. So Amanda says I added too many words. It's not a big deal. Like I encourage the kids to do one word or one picture, but I'm happy with a product. You know what I mean? And if it's a good product, even with more words, I'm happy with it. Okay, and we're at a 3-minute mark. So once again, we press play. And I'm going to go to which is better and why. So I just skip to that. You guys see these bars on the bottom? It just it's a quick way to get there. So which is better and why? So when your slide comes up, talk about it.
Sorry about that. I said the future electric vehicle because that's more forward looking to where we're going, and it made me think about the environmental crisis that we're having, which is why I posted that picture. That it's a need to have, not a nice to have.
Love it. And she was able to communicate so much just with a word and picture. Love it. Good job.
I did this one because I think we're innovating even beyond our previous misconceptions.
I said gas because electrical vehicles are not great for going long distance. It requires a lot of planning out, and electrical vehicles are very expensive to start with up front.
And see, here's a good example of putting notes there for yourself so you know what to say. And some kids really need that. And I encourage them, if you need that, then do it. But I don't, like I said, I don't require it.
We're not polluting the world as much. We're not digging for fossil fuels, and it also allows for less noise pollution.
I chose the bug. It's gas. My dad taught me how to rebuild this one. So I choose this for the memory.
Cool.
I choose also cleaner air, less diseases, and maybe we can have happier life.
I added for now because gas vehicles get you further on road trips without having to recharge 'cause that adds a lot of time onto your trip. And gas vehicles are currently more affordable.
Electric vehicles make you feel the need for speed in the safest of ways, of course, while also being environmentally friendly.
They're super fast. Yep, for sure.
I said going the distance. I like gas vehicles because where I live, if I wanted to go across my state, I would have to plan very carefully. And I ended up spending a lot of time waiting in line with my friend and her Tesla to charge her vehicle. So going across the state with her in her Tesla was not exactly the experience I want to have in the future.
Sure.
So obviously the melting glaciers is an issue, so we want to do what we can to stop that from happening any further.
Choosing electric is choosing a clean life and clean air.
Mine dovetails along with that. People in New Delhi could go to school right now if maybe it was all full of electric vehicles because they could breathe.
As the technology increases, it will be better for our environment and our future.
Just where our current infrastructure is at least in the Northeast, we're still gas.
Love the Jetsons car. That's cool. All right. So that's it, right? So we go, and as the kids get better at it, like we took a little bit more than 4 seconds. That's okay. But I really hold them to the 4 seconds. So we're flying through it. Right. And so what you're seeing is they're seeing multiple different perspectives very quickly. And so you not all of you had the same answers. So they're seeing a lot of different answers for the same thing very quickly. So we're building an argument on each side fairly quickly through that. And we'll go back to here. I'll show you guys some examples now. Let's check the chat. Let's see. This presentation just helped me figure out the dilemma I have for next unit with my seniors. So excited to try it. Cool. Did you avoid hybrids on purpose? I didn't even think about it. I probably should have done something with that. That'd been cool. All right. Examples. So Adam's been actually using it a lot lately on the Facebook group. If you're not part of the Facebook group, I highly encourage you to join it. But he says, today we learned about the Great Compromise, then slide face-off. Students shared and compared representatives and senators from 2 states. Then we shared out the numbers on the whiteboard. Students had a lot of questions. Why does Ohio have 15 and California 52? Why does each state have 2? So they put a picture and there's a word in there and they put the similarities in the middle. You can modify this however you want. So this is a picture, but it also has words in there, right? Massachusetts, California has that. And then they explained it here in this bottom box. How many representatives in the House of Representatives? 52. How many senators? 2. Another one he did, this is the same one, so just a different example. And you can see the kids wrote, right? And really what we're looking for is the product. They put their picture up here. It's supposed to be in the white box. Who cares? I'm looking at the product. Dominic Helmstetter, another amazing educator. You can see a lot of his stuff on Facebook. It's been a great 2 days of stacking up some EduProtocols. We explored types of government and students were having a blast. So here he did it slightly different. I loved how he did this. It's because remember, you can make this however you want it to be. It's a thin slide face-off. We're comparing things. We're comparing thin slides. So the type of government was democracy, and they had to say which one was the most effective and put it in the box, right? So they thought that democracy is the most effective, and they put the reason why, and they did the least effective government over here, which was they thought was monarchy, and they explained why. Now, if I were to do it in my class, I would just tell them to put one word in one picture and then explain all this. But like I said, sometimes you need that extra help. Sometimes you need that so you can tell you the class about it. And that's fine too. And that's what he had his kids do. This can be great for Socratic seminars. Yes, it can. And to quickly set up for a Socratic seminar, right? Absolutely. You could do a little mini Socratic seminar after every time you do one of these things. Ask a synthesis question, right? So this person says, so one thing which is really important that I feel is having the students embrace that you are in this activity, promoting your own opinion. If there's challenging of the other side, is the challenge of the thought and not another person you're attacking. Absolutely. We're not attacking each other. We're just putting out ideas, right? Which is a beautiful thing. Rachel Rose did this first attempt 10 slide face off. This is how she did it. I had 10 slides, all with 2 different pieces of World War II propaganda. We've already looked at it as a class. I try to set up most slides to have an American example on one side and a German example on the other side. I think the students did really great, but I'm just looking for some feedback. So here, partner number 1 talked about this one. Partner number 2 talked about this one. So the American and the German side, and she put similarities in the middle and gave them sentence frames they could use. So once again, another way to do that. This is one of my examples. So I gave them a reading on the US and the Soviet Union, and they had to compare those things, right? And had to find differences between the two. So this person put capitalism in a picture and prohibited, and the picture of the Russian Tsar. And then explain their things down here. Now, did they have to do this explanation down here? No, they didn't, but they felt like they needed it to be able to effectively explain it to the other partners. So when I do it like this, and I love doing this. So partner 1 is going to explain their thin slide to partner 2. Now they're both working on the same slide. So they're working together. I have one partner share the slide with the other partner. And so partner 1 is going to teach about capitalism to partner 2. Partner 2 is going to teach about the Soviet Union to partner 1. And then they're going to make a thin slide together in the middle, talking about the differences between the US and the Soviet Union. So I got some things in chat. Okay, so sometimes it's hard for me to always have questions of what is better. What other types of questions or evaluations can you use? So for example, we're going to do one. Like this wasn't about which one was better. It's about which one was different. So you can do differences and similarities. You can do you can just a lot of time I'll brainstorm in ChatGPT and I'll say, hey, here's my information. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a thin slide here, a thin slide here. These are my topics. What's a good synthesis question I could have them make a thin slide out of? So I'll brainstorm that way. And you'll see when we're going to do one more example of this in a few minutes, and I'll show you the synthesis question I chose for that. Can you do this on a PowerPoint? Absolutely, you can do this on PowerPoint, 100%. So this is for my 8-push class. There's the half-breeds that were a political party and the stalwarts, and I wanted them to see the differences between the two. And so they made a thin slide for the half-breeds, a thin slide for the stalwarts. You can see there I have a link there, and they would read about those things. And then partner 1 taught partner 2 about the half-breeds, partner 2 taught partner 1 about the stalwarts, and they had to come together and tell me about the differences between the two. There's another example of that. We did Marx and Lenin, Karl Marx and Vladimir Lenin, and because there's some definite differences there between how they thought communism should be set up. So that was a world history one. There's another example. I usually tell them to stay away from historical pictures. I want symbols. And you'll find kids, especially in history class, will just try to find a picture of the person, right? And so I put this one on here just to show you that's commonly what they do. Try to get them to give you a symbol, because a symbol is going to be so much more in depth, and they have to defend their symbol, right? And so you're going to get different types of symbols up there, and you're going to get kids that are sharing these things, and then the knowledge is migrating between them because they're showing different symbols and different ways of looking at the same thing. Here I did one on the robber barons or captains of industry. So they put a pick in the middle, and then they had to say which one was most like a robber baron and which one was most like a captain of industry. I'd given them a reading on J.P. Morgan and Cornelius Vanderbilt. It says Heidi's asking in the capitalism Soviet Union slide is the middle of the slide or a third slide, and that one it's all on the same slide. They're all on the same slide. So they're working on the same slide together. They had shared their slides. Another example with Rockefeller and Vanderbilt. I did, this one was a three-way thin slide face-off. So we had the Reconstruction plans after the Civil War. So we did one on Lincoln's plan, Johnson's plan, and a congressional Reconstruction. And then on short answer, I had them answer which plan was the best. Why? Provide 2 reasons. So literally I had 3 people in a group. They all had to teach each other about the plan that they had talked about. And then they had to decide together which one's the best plan and defend that. There's another one I did on Padlet for the Great Compromise. We had the Virginia plan and the New Jersey plan. That's how we came up with the House of Representatives and the senators that we have today. And the Great Compromise was the middle. Okay, so let's do one more together. Let's go to tinyurl.com, sun versus moon, and I'll put this in the chat for you. There you go. And I'll get over there myself. And I will give you the template that you saw, all the examples I was giving. I have a templates for it, and I will be giving you that at the end. Okay, so here you can see a synthesis question. I came out with the sun and the moon, right? So first of all, we're going to identify some aspects and characteristics of the sun and some aspects and characteristics of the moon. Just like last time, A through M, if your last name starts with A through M, you are doing the sun. If your last name starts with N through Z, you are doing the moon. And just like last time, I'm going to give you 3 minutes to give you one word and one picture. Ready to go.
Justin, is it to answer the question about eliminating, or is it what are the aspects of the moon or the sun?
Yeah, we're just looking at characteristics.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. We will do that middle question. If you want to do things to help defend that middle question, that's fine. I don't really care, but it's going to be characteristics still. We're going to answer that middle question after we do these 2 sides. Got to form the argument first. And I love it. People are already coming in. That's how quick this thing is. I love how quick thin slides are. It's fast. It's snippy. The kids are moving quickly, and they like that. They like moving from thing to thing. They don't like stagnating on something forever. And that's why I love thin slides so much, because we can get so much done with such a simple thing. And it's great for all students. Even my ELs excel at thin slides. They love doing them because it's something they can do and easily. One more minute. And just remember, if you're going to do it on a slide, this is going to be less class oriented, right? It's going to be partner one and partner two working together to make that middle slide. And this, it is much more group oriented or class oriented, which is it has its own benefits as well. You're seeing everybody's stuff, right? And so you can very quickly get through the sun, very quickly get through the moon, and then make that middle one on your own. But on a Google slide, they would make that middle one together. They'd come to a common consensus and then make it together. So you got that adds another element to it because you have to convince another person that you're right if they disagree with you. So when we, Stephanie, she asked for the center question, did you want us answering the question or justifying why our, I don't know why this thing's in the middle. Why our, there we go. Our side of the debate, center moon should be the correct answer. You're answering the question in a thin slide. Which one should be eliminated? So you don't have, like, you can change your mind. If you did a moon thin slide, but you think that the moon should be eliminated, that doesn't matter. What we're doing right now is we're building arguments on each side. So sun is going to talk about their side, moon is going to talk about their side, and then you make a decision which one should be eliminated. Okay, that is 3.5 minutes. So press the plus sign, and we're gonna do it just like before, but I'm gonna hold you to 4 seconds this time. And this is just what I do in class because eventually they got to get used to doing it in 4 seconds, right? So if you take over 4 seconds, I'm going to the next one. I'm gonna cut you off, okay? So 4 seconds. Ready to go.
It signifies daytime and hot.
I put the center for the fact that the sun's the center of the universe, and then heat provides heat.
The sun provides food for plants.
Warms up your day.
Ocean currents are important.
Gives us fuel to provide for humans.
Everything depends upon the sunlight.
Okay, and now we're on the moon.
Sometimes you want warm clothes.
Give us bright nights.
It affects our circadian rhythms.
It causes the tides.
Mysterious.
Creates the tides.
It stabilizes the Earth's axle tilt.
Changes with different phases every single month.
So now your class would have seen what is each one. Like basically we've identified what each one does, right? And so now what we're going to do, based on that information, which one would you eliminate if you had to choose? Why? So in one word and one picture, answer that question because you're about to defend that word and picture, right? So 3 minutes. Someone put a Star Wars picture. That's amazing. Got one more minute. Obviously, in class, there'd be a lot more talking. They'd be interacting with each other. Unless you do it on a Padlet like this, and then the whole class will be interacting with each other just by sharing with each other, right? But when you do it on a Google slide or on a present or a PowerPoint, the partner one and partner two will be talking to each other and then creating the synthesis slide together. About 20 seconds. All right, let's do it. So which one should be eliminated and why? All right, 4 seconds. Here we go.
Without the moon or without the sun, it would be dark and depressing all the time.
None. And I'm giving you the side eyes, like, really?
We're just making an argument here. We're
I know.
just trying to say which one is the most essential. I know they're both essential, but which one do you think is the most essential?
I couldn't choose.
That's all right.
Better to be in the dark, but yet alive.
There you go.
No crops would grow. We would be so hungry.
I was saying that the moon would go because without the sun, we'd be a barren, waste, cold land. And so the sun is necessary.
No moon means weird climate, but no sun means frozen.
Without the moon, we don't have stars.
No sun means no energy and life.
While the moon is lovely, it's a little bit unnecessary and it's not as nurturing as we need the sun to be.
Now, I'm not a science teacher, so I'm not going to correct anything there. But as a science teacher, that brings up a lot of things that you could do, right? Oh, actually, we do need it for this, this, and this, or we need this for this, this, and this, right? So I was just trying to have fun with it. But you can see how you could put any kind of synthesis question there in the middle to generate conversation and argumentation. Okay, let's wrap it up. So the proof, you get 100% participation with this. There's nowhere to hide. You got one kid making one slide, one kid making the other slide, and then they got to come up with a synthesis slide in the middle. So it's there's no passengers, no hiding. I should say 3 minutes. I got to correct that. But students show what they know and build on what they hear. So we all shared with each other knowledge about the sun and the moon, and then what we thought about it in the middle. Students move from recall to comparison to synthesis, because when we recall to create it, and then we are actually comparing them by showing the characteristics of each. And then we ask a synthesis question for the middle. Thinking shifts from what is it? How does it connect? And then so it's not just identifying, it's arguing, it's comparison. The synthesis slide sparks real discussion, not just answers. And we can have an argument like, okay, yeah, we have the sun and it does this, and we have the moon and it does this. Why is it one more essential than the other? Well, we die without either of them. But what are the great things about the sun that make it more important than the moon, or the great things about the moon that make it more important than the sun? We're just arguing for the sake of arguing and learning about it as we're doing it. So quick reference, we create, students make one thin slide, one image, one word. We present, we face off, we compare, discuss, defend, and then we bridge it, we collaborate to build one synthesis slide, one image and one word. And there's the slides right there for you guys. For the tiny URL, I will put that in the chat for you. I do write a blog, and it's called Iron Scholar. So you can there's a link right there when you get this. When you get the slides, you can click on that. And I just basically go through what I did during the week and why I did it, and the EduProtocols that I used to get through it. And here I have templates, and I have it's kind of a beast now. There's over 100 things on there, but literally what I do is I just like I'll show you. I've got this open as I'm making a lesson, and I just copy and paste it over to a new slide deck. And that's how I make a lesson. So it goes very fast. It becomes kind of fun, kind of like a puzzle on how I can put together a lesson. And it makes it very easy for me to use just different things that I've come up with and different EduProtocols that I have to create a lesson. And so if that could be helpful to you, then I am happy that it helps you. Let me put this link in the slide or the chat. There you go. Yeah, it's a hot dog, a sandwich. Perfect smart start. And that's one thing I didn't really get into here is that you should always smart start this. And a smart start is just a low cognitive thing that's kind of fun. Like, is it a hot dog or is a hot dog a sandwich? Right. And so one side would be hot dog, one side would be sandwich, and in the middle, you'd get what that group came up with together as a consensus, right? They had to convince the other side of which one it is. And the thin slide would be their reasoning as to why it is either a hot dog or a sandwich. Heidi says an AP would be interesting as a pre-thing for DBQ or LEQ for sure. In AP US history, it's great because they need to learn argumentation, right? So it's an essential skill for AP US history. I'm also on X, I'm on Facebook, TikTok. On TikTok, I have a bunch of tutorials about how I do different things and the setup of it. I especially love Snorkel and Class Companion, so I use those quite a bit. And so feel free to look at those. I'm going to start making more. Football season's over now, so I'm done coaching and I can start making those again. Here's my email. If you have any questions, please ask. If you don't want to ask here, you can for sure ask me any questions that you have right now, and I'd be happy to answer anything. Thank you, Mr. Seth. Go Lakers. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming. I really appreciate it. It's fun being with you today.
The other fun question, Justin, is would you eat sushi from a gas station?
Oh, perfect. See, those are all such great smart start ones that just make it so much fun, right? And the great thing about the smart start is that when they do it and they're having fun with it, they have this positive outlook on it, right? And so they see it as a positive thing to do, and they are confident that they can do it. And so when you spend a good amount of time on smart starts, maybe the first 2 weeks of class, and then you've done 5 of these now, it becomes very fun for them, and it creates less battle in the future. They want to do it as much as kids want to do anything in school. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. So Stephanie's asking about the Emoji Escapade. Emoji Escapade is very similar to Thin Slide. That's why I like it so much, because it's fun to do. Kids love emojis. If you've never used emojikitchen.dev, I'll put it in the chat here. You're missing out. It is amazing. They can create their own emojis. So what Emoji Kitchen, I'm sorry, what Emoji Escapade is if you give them a topic, and then they've got to give you an emoji that represents that topic, and then they have to explain how that emoji represents that topic. So they're making forced connections. And I love that because it's anytime students can create their own learning and attach it to something, they are much more likely to remember it, because we're all little narcissists and we remember things we created, right? Like I always tell other teachers, like, I don't remember any lecture I ever had in school, but I do remember the things we did. And that's the kind of learning we want to give our students. We want to give them this kind of learning that they remember stuff from high school when they're 40 years old. You know what I mean? I still remember things I did in high school. I don't remember any words that were said to me, but I do remember things I did. So at least words that were, lectured in class. So that's another thing that Emoji Escapade does, is it allows them to create their own learning. and then apply it to the topic. And ask, what if you want to start this now, even in the middle of the year? What are the shortest amount of smart days you could do to get them a solid start? I mean, honestly, you could just, if they've never done a thin slide, just have them start doing thin slides. And a thin slide face-off is super easy to do because you don't really need to smart start a thin slide face-off because they already know how to do a thin slide. And thin slides, like you saw, take 3 minutes. And just doing something fun, like we did gas or electric. Everyone knows what a gas vehicle is. Everybody knows what an electric vehicle is. It's easy to do, right? You could do Godzilla versus King Kong, right? You could do anything like that, and it would be easy to implement in the middle of the year. I did it before I started EduProtocols. Basically, like I just kind of like trickled into it. I didn't do a whole lot at first, but I definitely implemented them throughout the year. And I just did a few easy ones like thin slide, cyber sandwich, stuff like that. If you guys have any questions, like we had some people asking about LG Escapade. If you got any questions, other questions about things that I use or things that you use, and you have questions about it, feel free to ask me. I'm happy to talk about it. Other than that, we are done.
I'm curious about capture the flag, Finn, if you're still there, Justin.
Capture the flag.
Yeah, I see that on your templates as well.
Oh, I made that a while ago. Gosh, what was that?
Never mind then. It's okay.
Yeah, I made that a few years ago. I'd have to take a look at it. Let me see.
It's okay then. I was just thinking that if it's a gamified version of something.
Gamified. It is a gamified thing. I just haven't used it in forever. Let's see.
Yeah. I love your battleship, so I'm going to introduce that this week to my students.
Oh, my kids love it. They really do. They have a lot of fun with the kids. The class gets really loud during it, which I love because they're on topic and they're talking to each other about the topic. So
yep.
I love on topic noise. Love it.
Me too.
Yeah. Gosh, where did I even put it? Do you remember what slide it is?
I had it up just now and then I was looking at other templates. It's 127.
Oh, I was getting there. What was that? I can't remember. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
I'm looking at it like I had it. Stephanie Howe. I got it from Stephanie Howe.
Okay.
And so if you look her up, I put capture the flag in, maybe on because she puts a lot of her stuff on X. So
okay.
And this is from years when it was still Twitter. So
okay.
Yeah. I saw hers and I was like, oh, that's a cool template. I'll just make one real quick.
Yeah. No, I love your template idea. Ever since I was like, that is such a fantastic way of just keeping everything easy for planning. I love it.
Right. You don't got to create things over and over again. The kids get used to it because it's the same looking thing every time.
Yep.
Yeah. They get comfortable with it.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course.
I think John's kicking off the closing in a minute here. In the other room. Room 1. Let's see if I can find the link here. Room 1. Copy.
Thanks, Chris. We'll see you around, man.
Hey, talk to you soon.
Later, bud.
All right.